Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Felicia, for that wonderful welcome. My name is Bethany, as she mentioned. I'm an educator with Singer Sewing Company, and today I'm here with you to talk about presser feet. So I hope you printed out your little sheet that you got for the class. If not, get a notepad and pen and paper. We're going to go through as many of these feet as possible. I might have been a little overzealous when I scheduled this class, and I listed 10. I think I had more originally and I started cutting a few, but we only have an hour. So we're going to get through as much as we can. Just remember that this is recorded. It will be available over on Michael's YouTube channel within 48 hours. So you can watch the playback if you missed something. As she also mentioned, I have two of my lovely colleagues in the chat behind the scenes today. So if you have questions, please drop those in the chat. Amy was going to help with any questions about products and links to things over on Michael's. And then Vanessa is going to help with any sewing related questions. And if it's something that I need to readdress here on the live, she'll hop in and let me know. And I'll be sure to tackle that. And we're going to try to get through as much as we can. Now, if we don't get through everything, it's okay. We will always pick up and do this again. But we're going to get started and dive right in. And so we're going to just go through some different feet. I'm going to go straight down the list that I gave you guys just to keep it easy for everybody. And we're going to start with the all-purpose foot. So I'm going to show you, and first of all, before I go too far, the machine I'm using, which you'll see up close in a minute, is our Singer Heavy Duty 6700C. It's a computerized machine. It's personally, I love our heavy duty line. You really can't go wrong there. And this machine specifically is available over at Michael's and michaels.com. So if you are in the market for a machine and you're curious about the heavy duties, today is going to be a great class for you. All right, so we're going to start with the all-purpose foot. Now, an all-purpose foot for different machines, different Singer machines and everything, can look a little different, but they have a general purpose and it's kind of a broad sewing spectrum. But what I'm going to show you up close real quick, and I'm going to try to do it here so you can see as best I can and get it to focus. See how this one has a spring right here? I'm going to show you what that's for. I feel like a lot of people see this foot and they're like, I don't know what this is or how to use it. So that's going to be my first example. So I'm going to switch over to my camera at my sewing machine and I'm going to attach this foot. And one thing I really love about our Singer feet is this little bar right here, just how easy it is to attach and detach the feet. So I just set it right underneath. I lower the foot, I hear a click and it pops right back up and it's attached to the machine. Now, there's a little bar behind here, which you can't see from this angle, but you just press it and it releases, and then I can drop it back down and pick it right back up. So this little spring on the back of the ankle right here, which you can't see from the angle that you're at, I'm going to turn this machine a little bit, maybe that'll help. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'm using a different camera over here for this today, so we'll see how this goes. Be patient with me. Okay, so here's our spring right here, and here's our foot moving. But right here is a little hole. Do you see that little hole? And that's where that little spring's going to go into when we engage it. Now, we're not able to engage it at this moment, but we are going to once we start sewing, and I'll show you how we get there. All right, so real quick, it's easier to show you here. I have a piece of denim, and one thing that's great about this foot with the spring is it's going to help level the foot to get over bulky seams. So I took a piece of denim and I folded it over as if I was going to sew over it to hem or, you know, fix a pair of jeans or anything like that. And sometimes when you get to this bulk, it's so thick that your machine doesn't want to go over, your foot doesn't want to go over it, it gets jammed, you break a needle, it's really frustrating. And if you can get that foot level, then it helps it glide over this bulk much smoother. So I'm going to show you what that looks like right here. So here's my example. I'm going to put my, let me get my little thread out of the way here. There we go. I'm going to put my foot down. I've already got this fold here. Let me swing around. There we go. I'm trying not to bump this camera. You guys have got the better angle than I do. So I've got my foot here. I've got my bulk, and I'm going to sew a straight stitch and make sure I'm on a straight stitch. And I'm going to stop with my needle down right before this bulk. You see the foot's trying to go up over this, but with my needle in the down position, I can lift the foot and I can push that spring, that little button, into that hole. I'm going to hold that in place as I lower the foot back down. Now the spring is engaged. It is in there, and the back of the foot here, let me turn this, is now level with the bulk of the front of the, where the front of the foot is over the fabric that's thicker right here. So now that it's engaged and the foot's level, I can continue to easily sew right over this bulk. Now, one thing that's kind of fun about using this foot is as you start to sew over it, this spring will automatically disengage, okay? And when it does that, I don't know why it's getting blurry on you guys. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. There we go. It does that sometimes. It's because of the light and the glare on all the silver. Anyway, so as I start to sew, you'll see this spring pop out. It makes a little pop sound. You may not hear it on the microphone, but it makes a little pop sound and it automatically disengages as it starts to go over this bulk. So I'm going to finish sewing. Did you see it? It just popped right back out. It made a little pop. It's actually quite satisfying because now the front of my foot and the back of my foot are both across this bulk and it doesn't need to be engaged anymore, okay? And I can just keep sewing and it'll just go right down the other side. See how easy and smooth that is? Let me see if I can show you better here. You can't even really tell that I went over a bulky seam. If you folded this again and needed to go over a thicker amount, you absolutely could. This little spring is mighty powerful, and it's probably one of my favorite features about the general or all-purpose foot that comes with our heavy-duty machines. So that is our first foot. If you have any questions, let me know or let Vanessa know in the chat, but this is a good one to know how to use that for those bulky seams. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is the zipper foot, which is right here. There you go. So it's got two sides to the zipper foot, so you can set it to either side. We're going to engage it on both sides. I'm going to show you just a quick sample of how to use it and line it up with a zipper. If you have questions specifically on how to sew with a zipper or to make a zipper pouch as a first project with zippers and get comfortable with different types of zippers, last summer in July, I did a whole class on how to sew different types of zippers. And then in August, we did a zipper pouch to take what we learned and apply it to a project. So I know Amy's going to drop those those recorded classes from last year. So if you have specific questions about a zipper, how to install a zipper, that's a great class to go back and watch. But we're going to use the zipper foot here. And I've got a piece of fabric. I've already clipped my, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. I've already clipped my zipper right sides together to my fabric. And I've got my little zipper pull right here. And I am going to, one little test that you can do is you can kind of place, if you don't know which side to put the zipper foot onto the machine, you can lay it down onto your zipper and go, okay, well, if I'm going to sew down this side, then I need to attach it on that side. So we're going to sew it down, attach it on that right side. Let me hop over here. See how wide that bar is? You just pick a side. So we're going to attach it on this side so we can sew down this side of our zipper. Now, when you're doing this, you definitely want to make sure you're set to a straight stitch. And this part of the foot right here, let me see if I can zoom back in. If it'll stay focused, I'll keep it zoomed in. If not, we can zoom it out. But there we go. This little part right here of the foot should be bumping up to the edge of the zipper teeth, which are on the underside, but you can feel them right here. And that's where you want to keep this part of the foot. You want your stitch to be as close to your zipper teeth as possible. Now, depending on the type of zipper, again, if you're doing an exposed zipper and you want to see more of the zipper tape, then you can scoot it out a little bit. That's preference. But to keep it nice and straight, I like to stick as close to the zipper teeth as possible. And we're just gonna Move my clips as I go. Okay, so here I am approaching the zipper pull, and I'm going to put my needle in the down position, and I'm going to lift this foot, and I'm going to take my zipper pull and I'm going to slide it past the foot, okay, to the area that I've already sewn down. And then I'm going to put my zipper foot back down and keep going. You want to give yourself an inch or so before you get to the zipper pull to be able to move it around the foot. Don't sew all the way up to the zipper pull. It'll be really hard to maneuver it around the foot if you do. I am sewing at a weird angle, so if it's not straight, forgive me. I'm giving you guys the straight on angle, and I'm sewing from the side. The joys of sewing on camera. But you get the concept of how to attach the zipper using the zipper foot. You see this little groove right here? It just sits right on top of these teeth if you put this right next to it, and it really does make it so much easier. It sets you up for success. I'm going to lift my foot, trim my threads, and we'll see how I did. Let me zoom back out real quick. Okay, so this is what I just sewed down, but if I fold it up, there's my zipper sewn perfectly down. And what I can do is take my next piece of fabric, line it up right sides together, and do the same thing. All I have to do is move that foot over to the other side. It's that simple. So zipper feet are very useful tools and makes attaching zippers so much easier. So do not be intimidated by zippers. They're actually quite easy once you get the hang of it. Just give it a go, I promise. And if you need to watch that class that we did last summer, please go watch it, because we talked about all different types of zippers in that class. Okay, we're moving along. We're doing good. I feel like, or do we have any questions? Or anything?
Bethany, can you just repeat the name of that first foot you did with the spring?
Yes, it's an all-purpose foot, and some all-purpose feet may look a little different than others. This one with the spring is commonly found on our computerized heavy duty and some of our computerized other Singer machines as well. So if you're in the market and you want this foot and you're in the market for a sewing machine, check out the 6700 or some of the other computerized machines that we have. Some of them do offer this, and it'll be listed in that specifications. I hope that helps answer that question. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is the open toe foot, and it looks just like you think it would. Looks just like that, a little open toe. Now, this can come in that metal, or you can also sometimes find them in clear, which is fun as well. I'm going to use the metal one. Actually, no, I use the metal one today. If we get a little glare, I can always switch it to the clear one. But these are great for your decorative stitches. It not only gives your needle full range of motion for your machine, but it also gives you really good visibility, because there's nothing blocking your viewpoint here to see where that stitch is going and how it's looking. So I'm going to attach this foot real quick. Let's see here. There we go. Again, this is why it's so easy to get through so many feet in one class, is because they're easy to attach and detach. All right, I'm going to move this for a second. One thing I love about our computerized heavy duty machines is we've got these decorative stitches, and I'm going to jiggle you for a second. My apologies. Well, we've got these little sliders that come out, and this is telling us all of our decorative stitches and even some lettering. And so these are really fun to use, and that's what we're going to choose today. So I haven't really decided which one we're going to do today. Let's see here. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go with number 10. So all I have to do is type in 10. Actually, I need to go to the folder for 10. There we go. It's folder 3, and it's stitch number 10. So let's see if I pick the right one for this example. Now, I'm just going to sew this on some white fabric. I did put some stabilizer behind it, but it just helps your decorative stitches hold up really well. So it just will be a little stronger for that. Get my thread caught. All right. And then all we have to do is get going. See which one I picked. You know, I can see every part of the decorative stitch. Pick up the pace a little bit. You get the idea. So it was nice to be able to see every part of our decorative stitch. So when we go to stitch it out and we want it to stop at a certain point, we know exactly where to stop because we can see with that open toe foot. It gave us great visibility into a beautiful stitch. And that's the one I picked. So I definitely typed in the right number. I'll hold this up for you guys to see up close. So just simply changing the foot can make doing something like a decorative stitch so much easier when trying to add a little, you know, flair or something to your project. So that's a fun one to play around with. And it does, we do have it in a metal, but you can also find them in a clear.
So Bethany, somebody has a good question.
Yeah.
She says she has an older Singer machine and she's asking if Singer presser feet are designed to go on all Singer sewing machines, or does she need to look for one specific to her machine model?
That's a fantastic question. So thank you to whoever asked that. I would recommend looking up your model to see what is compatible with your model. I know that the feet, the way that they attach on our machines today, it's not the same for how they used to be. I don't know when that changed or anything, but when in doubt, look up the machine, your manual, see what's compatible, see how they attach, and see if any of these feet would work with that or not. Some may not. It's just one of those things you're going to have to do a little research for an older model. And that's a great question and something that's important to keep in mind. The feet that I'm showing you today are compatible with our Singer machines that are available through Michaels. And so I hope that kind of gives you an idea of to answer that question. So that was a good one. All right. Are we ready to move forward? We're doing good. I'm quite proud of myself here. We're going to get into some harder ones, so I wanted to make sure we kind of got through those first. All right, so the next one I'm going to show you is the satin stitch foot right here. It looks similar to our all-purpose foot, but it has a little groove right here in the middle, right under my thumb. I don't know if you can see that right there. It's hard, I know. They're shiny and my studio lights really put a glare and it's hard to focus. But that line is going to help us kind of line up where our satin stitch is going to go. And for an example for this, I'm going to do a little applique. So I just did a little heat and bond press, attach a square to some fabric, and we're going to stitch around it with a satin stitch to show applique, which is commonly used with a satin stitch and a satin foot. So let's switch over to our machine, and I'm going to attach this foot just like the others. See if I can line it up better. Oh my goodness. Did I grab the one that doesn't fit this machine? I probably did. I think I did. Well, let me show it to you this way then, because you can also do this with the open toe foot, and we're going to, I'm just going to show you this real quick. And do the satin stitch with an open toe, and I'll show you the clear one. So that'll work just fine. I think the one that I grabbed was for a different type of machine. Okay, that was my fault. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my machine over here. Let me tilt this up a little bit so you can see. There we go. There's the heavy duty. All right, so we're going to set this machine. Actually, I'm going to go back to the first folder. I'm going to set it to a zigzag stitch, which is pre-programmed right here as number 5. You can see it right here. And you can adjust your stitch here. So this is going to be our width. This is going to be our length. I'm fine with the width being 5, but I am going to lower the length. That's as low as it will go on this machine. It's 0.3. So we're going to do that. It's just bringing the stitch really close together to fill it in and make a solid stitched line along the edge of our applique over here. So let's go back over here. Now I've done a lot of classes here with Michaels on applique techniques and styles, and there's so many that we have done over the years. But I will say, if you're really interested in learning more about applique, next month we're doing a whole class on applique. So I highly recommend tuning in for that class next month. Do you see how my stitches are really close together? Let me zoom in a little bit for you. I'm just going to go down one side for time's sake and show you what this looks like, because we are going to do a whole class on applique next month. But see how my stitches are super close together? And so when you go all the way around, it makes a really nice border, and it's a great way to outline different designs and create fun patterns on top of fabric, which we've done before. We've done a ghost shirt for Halloween a couple years ago. We did last spring, we did like a towel with a flower, and we appliqued that. So we're going to do a lot of that next month, but I just wanted to show you, and I'm sorry the satin foot that I grabbed didn't fit this machine. That was my fault, but you can use the open toe foot just the same, and create that satin stitch. And this is what it would look like with the satin foot too. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, so the next one we're going to do is the blind hem foot, which is this one right here. I feel like a lot of people see this and then they're like, I don't know what this whole like side piece is and everything. So this is the blind hem foot. It's going to allow us to create a blind hem. We're going to use the blind hem stitch for this one. And this whole part right here is adjustable by this little screw to move it in and out based on your stitch settings and also where your fold is, and we'll attach it and it'll make more sense. So let's go back to the machine. Again, it's going to attach just like the others. And I know this one fits. I used it earlier. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to get my threads out of the way. And so the purpose of using a blind hem foot and using a blind hem stitch is to be able to hem something. I have a piece of fabric here. We're going to pretend this is the hem of a skirt, and we want to just do a slight hem here, but when we open it up, we don't want like a hard stitch line all the way across. We just want to tack it. It looks almost like tacked and you don't even really see it. With the right color thread that matches, you won't see those blind hem stitches holding your hem in place. But for today's purpose, I just chose pink so you could see it on all of our examples. And so you're going to see the stitches, but that's the point for today's class. So I've got my hem folded over, and what you want to do is on the underside, you're going to sew right along this edge. And when you sew the blind hem foot, I'm going to actually swing over here to show you the blind hem foot. The blind hem stitch. So it's this one right here. So see how it does a few stitches and then it tacks over a little zigzag real quick. That little zigzag, that point, is what's we want to hit that fold. Just barely, okay? So that is why we line this fold up with this edge right here. And I'm going to slide this in and lower the foot. And I'm going to select my blind hem stitch before I start sewing. And I know it's all white and really bright, but this is sitting right next to the fold. This fold is going to follow right along there. And the best thing to do is to just use your hand wheel, hold your threads and do a couple of stitches and just make sure that it's catching where you want it to on that fold when you get to that little zigzag. So here it is, it's gonna go down and it's catching the fold just barely. Okay, so it looks like we're set up for success. If it's not catching or if it's going in too far, you can adjust the stitch width over on your machine settings to do that, or you can adjust this bar here and move it further in or further out as you need. So I'm just going to go for it. Speed it up a little. Okay. I think it's going to be easier for me to show you this over here. So here is my finished blind hem stitch. Doesn't that look pretty? See how it just caught the edge of that fold? Now the magic is when I fold this, I'm going to finger press this real quick. Here is my hem. So there's my stitch and there's my hem. Now, obviously you can see the stitches because it doesn't match my fabric and I used a heavier weight, so it shows up on camera. But if you use a lighter weight and it'll, in the matching thread, it'll blend right in. So when you go to hem a skirt, this is a great way to hem a skirt with a blind hem foot. And it was that easy. And you're going to get a perfect hem all the way around. Any questions about this? You can not only use this for garments, but you could use it for other projects as well. So even if you wanted to do a little blind hem around a pillowcase, you could. It's just a nice way to finish it off. And it's going to hold up really well. And this is a great way to hem wovens. What if you have no serged edge? I only serge the edge so you wouldn't see threads because this is just a scrap piece of fabric. You do not have to serge the edges. I did that so I wouldn't have a bunch of strings all over the camera today. So that's why I serged the edges on some of my samples today. Do you fold again prior to blind hem? Yes. So I'll show you the fold real quick. Let me move this over. Let me tilt this down. Okay. Okay, so here's my fabric. And let me get it going. I find it, let me zoom out. I find it easiest, and there's a couple of ways that you can do this. Obviously, if you are doing this to measure for a hem, you're going to fold up for your hem, and you're going to pin this in place. And then you're going to flip it over and you're going to fold it back and pin that in place. And you want to leave a little bit, like 1/4 of an inch past it to be able to stitch onto. Does that make sense? So we're going to fold and fold just like that. I did it backwards the first way. So I was going to stitch on the front side of the fabric, the right side, so the wrong side. So now I could follow this fold and do it. Now, obviously you're going to want to pin, okay? And then when you fold it up, you can pin again and remove those first pins. I just, for today's example, I didn't bother with the pins. I just pressed it really well because I wasn't going all the way around like a skirt, and it's just a small piece of fabric. But I would definitely press if you can, depending on your fabric, but I would definitely pin it and then do your blind hem stitch. Let's see here. Do I have a video showing how to finish the edge? I've done some serger classes with Michaels. Maybe Amy can find a couple and drop them in the chat if you're interested in learning how to use a serger. But that's all it was, is just serging the edges because this fabric frays and I didn't want to have strings all over the camera. So, okay. Blind hem foot. Do we feel like we could give that one a try? I feel like it's one that people don't utilize as much as they should, and it's really easy to use. Okay, so don't be scared of this one either. I'm going to fix my camera before we come back over here. I don't want to make you guys nauseous. All right, so next we have the So Easy foot. This is a fun one. I'm glad you're willing to try it, Donna. That's all I ask is you guys to try something new. That's why we have these fun classes. All right, so this is the So Easy foot. This is pretty straightforward in the sense of it does have a nice open toe here at the front, but then it's got a nice center guide. And you're going to use this with a straight, you use it with different stitches, but the whole point is to be able to sew in lines and line up all your stitches. So for this example, I'm going to just sew some straight stitches, but these little marks right here are different measurement points. Now we already have measurements across our sewing plate on this machine, but this is another way that you can, again, like the last foot, but the fabric right up to it and help to keep it in alignment. So for this example, let me switch over here. Might be easier to see here. So this foot has different measurement settings. So right here, we're at, with it as close to the foot, this white part, it's 3/8 inch. So if we had our needle in the center position lined up with that center line, from there to this little edge is 3/8 inch. Now, if we move it over to this next red line, that's a 1/2 inch. Then it goes to 5/8 inch, 3/4, and all the way up to 1 inch. So it's just going to help you create even seams and guides or stitches, straight stitches as you're going along. So we're going to set this to 3/8. Attach it, my little thread here. Okay, I'm just going to sew a couple of lines, but what you're going to see is I'm going to line this edge of the fabric up with this plastic white edge here. And that's going to give me the perfect, when my needle's in the center position, because I needed to change it back to this stitch, a straight stitch, it's going to give me a perfect 3/8 inch seam allowance if I was to be sewing a seam or an edge or something. So there's 3/8 inch seam allowance, but let's change it again. Let's bump it all the way out to 1 inch. I'm going to line the fabric up with this part of the foot again. So it's like a bumper. You do still have to keep it aligned with this, but it does make it easier than trying to follow the line on the plate, the sewing plate. And now we have a 1 inch seam allowance. And my seams are perfectly aligned all the way across. Just makes sewing a straight stitch much easier than having that little guide. I kind of think of it as like the bumpers and when you go bowling. I am a horrible bowler. I love the bumpers. So anything to make it easier and more enjoyable and get the clean straight stitches that you're wanting. This foot is called the So Easy foot for a reason, because it makes sewing so much easier. All right.
Well, Bethany, there is a question. Can it do 1/4 inch?
It does not go that far down. We do have a 1/4 inch foot that I don't have as an example here today, but that would be a good time to use that foot because it's going to be able to get you that 1/4 inch. Does that work? Okay. So I'm going to move along to the next one, which is the cording foot. This one's really fun. You guys are going to have fun with this one. So this is the cording foot. Okay. It's got this little black bar right here. We're going to come up and close with it for a second. All right. So you see these little holes right here, these 3 little holes on the cording foot. That's where a cord is going to go. And we can do some really fun things with cording. You can use it to add cording for decoration. You can also use it to gather fabric. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples today, but it's going to attach just like the other feet. We're going to attach it right here. I'm gonna give myself a little more slack here. All right, and then for fun today, I have this blue glitter cord. It's just fun. And I'm going to cut a few pieces off. Cut these down. There we go. And these cords will fit right under that black bar and right into those grooves. You want to start, you can do 1, 2, or 3. This will do 3 cords at once. And you just want to slide it under the foot and get it into that. You start with that far groove first, and then you grab the next one. Just kind of floss it in there back and forth. There's the next one. Get it in that middle one. And then I have one more. I'm going to do all 3. We're going to go big or go home, right? All right, so there's all 3 in the grooves. I hope you guys can see that. Now, I've got these little tails back here for my cord. I'm going to pull it a little bit, and I'm going to tie them in a knot together, just a simple little knot. It's kind of hard to do around a camera, so give me just a second. This is just going to prevent them from sliding out. It's going to keep them in alignment and even. So I've got a little knot, and I can just kind of pull them back and get them nice and even. And there we go. So I have set myself up for success with my cording foot. I'm just going to stitch these down onto some little denim fabric so you guys can see what this looks like. There we go. Now, since I'm using 3 cords, I want to be able to stitch down all 3 at the same time. So the stitch I'm going to select for this is going to be this one right here, which is the triple zigzag stitch. So I'm going to select that. And this is where the fun comes in, because you can choose this stitch. You could choose some of the decorative stitches. You could really have a lot of fun with this and play around, especially with the different number of cords that you choose to use. So I'm going to get going, and we're just going to stitch these down. And this little guide right here is going to help keep these even and separated, just like they need to be. Then I am actually going to hold on to these back here for just getting started, just to keep them nice and straight. There we go. I'm not pulling at all. Letting these feed into the foot through those little guides. See how they're even getting a little twisted? That's okay. They will untwist. And then you're going to pull the rest of your cord out of the foot and trim your threads. Look at how fun that is, even with my pink and blue together. Isn't that cute? I mean, how cool would that be on a pant cuff or a shirt cuff or pockets, or just to add some flair, or a zipper pouch, or all sorts of things? I think, yeah, wow, how easy was that? It is easy. I know it looks impressive, okay? But with the right feet, these can be really easy to accomplish. I'm going to switch back over to this camera. I think you might be able to see it even better. How fun is that? Okay. I also said that you can use cording with this cording foot to gather fabric. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a huge fan of having to gather fabric. It's just not my favorite thing to do when I have to when I'm sewing a dress with a bunch of tiers and they're all gathered, and it's just a lot. So I'm going to show you a little trick on how to gather fabric using the cording and the cording foot. All right, so we're going to come back over to our machine. I'm going to tie a little knot in this cord before I stick it in there at the end, because it's just easier, and I'm just using the one. I say it's easier, but I'm sitting here struggling to put this into a knot. There we go. There we go. So I've just got a simple little knot on the end, and I'm going to feed it through, floss it through. I'm just going to put it in that middle one. There we go. Well, almost. There we go. So now it's in the middle one. And I'm going to set my machine to just a regular zigzag stitch. And we're going to just feed some fabric through. Now, typically when you gather, you're using like 1 or 2 basting stitches and you're really making it long. With this, we don't really need to do that. We're going to zigzag stitch on either side of our cord. We're not going to stitch through the cord. We do not want to stitch through the cord. So if you need to make adjustments to the width of your zigzag stitch, you can. But we're just going to sew back and forth over this cord. All right, and then I'm going to pull my cord out. Well, I hit the camera. Sorry about that. All right, so now that I have it pulled, I do have that knot on this end. So as I pull, it's going to, I'm going to move. I'm going to do this right here. So as we pull, it's going to gather my fabric, and I can just slide that down. Now, using cording for gathering can come in much easier when using like a thicker fabric or home deck fabric or things like that. If you wanted to make a ribbon that was corded or ruffled or whatever, and you could use a cord that maybe matches better than my blue glitter cord that I have today. But it's just an easy way, and you don't have to worry about your stitches popping like your basting stitches and stuff. So this is a fun way to gather with cording. Very easy and fun little trick. I'm glad you enjoyed that. All right, so that's the cording foot. There's a lot of other things you can do with this foot, so be sure to check it out. But we're going to move on to buttons and buttonholes. Now, we've talked about buttons and buttonholes before, but I feel like sometimes people are intimidated by them, and we're going to conquer that fear together today. So let's start by talking about the buttonhole foot, because we have to have a buttonhole for our button. So this is the buttonhole foot. This machine has, let's see here. I think it has 1, 2, oh my gosh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's got 8 and a couple of eyelets and 9. It's got quite a few buttonhole options. Some machines just have 1, but you're going to have a buttonhole foot like this, and it can look intimidating, but don't be intimidated. What I love about this buttonhole foot is it actually makes it really easy to decide and determine how big of a buttonhole you need for the button that you're going to be using. We need to make sure that our button can fit through the buttonhole. So that's where this little lever back here comes into play, and it just slides up and down, makes a little clicky sound, okay? And you're going to take your button and you're going to just sit it right into this little area and just push this down until it hugs your button. Okay, this is going to help us know, it's going to help the machine know how long our buttonhole needs to be for this specific button. Okay, so now that I've got my button into my button foot, I'm going to attach it to the machine. So let's hop over here. Now it also has the little bar to attach it. Okay, and I'm going to move my threads out of the way and attach it. Now, my button's going to be back here in the back. It's just hanging out. It's about to go for a little ride, okay? Now, there is right here behind our automatic needle threader, there is another little bar right here. Ours on the Singer machines say push with a down arrow. You want to push this down. You need to engage this with the buttonhole foot. It needs to come down and sit right behind this little ledge right here. What it's doing is it's telling the machine where we're starting, but then when this starts sewing, it's going to come to here, and this little bar is going to be right here, and it's going to tell it where to stop. This width is based on this button. It literally takes the guesswork out of it. Okay. So we're going to, maybe I'll leave it in this position for you all to be able to see it better. And I'm going to sew a buttonhole. And I'm just going to do the one on the machine, on the front of the machine, that's like most commonly used buttonhole. And I am going to, now one thing that's important to note is that the buttonhole foot always starts at what I would say is the bottom of the buttonhole. It's going to sew that way and then come over and sew back. So we're starting at the part of the buttonhole that's closest to you. So don't start on the edge right here and think it's going to come toward you. It's not. It's going to go that way. Okay. It's a little backwards feeling sometimes. So just remember, we're going to lower the foot, lower my needle, and we're just going to hit the presser foot and go. Now I'm going to stop for just a second because I have this little tail and I like to stop and pull it out and trim it out of the way so it doesn't get and mess up, make my buttonhole look messy. So we're gonna keep going. I'm not really doing anything with the fabric. I'm letting the machine do its thing. And you see how it's coming, this little bar is coming back to the front. It's, now it knows. Did a little tack bar across the bottom. Now it's zigzagging back and forth. You'll see this will stop it right here. When it gets there. There we go. And now it's going to go down the other side. All right, so that's the end. I held down the foot until it stopped stitching. When I lift the foot, it springs back to the front, and then we can just pull this up and we have a beautiful buttonhole. Now to attach a button, we're gonna move right along. I'm gonna lift this bar back up out of the way, remove that, and then here's our button foot. It's got these little, like, sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're clear. Rubber, like kind of soft pieces on the end, and that's going to hold the button in place. And it's going to attach just like this with that little rubber part in the front. Let me get it in there just right. There we go. All right, so that button that was in my buttonhole foot, I need it back because I need to attach my button. All right, so I'm going to come over here. Now this button only has 2 holes, but you could also do one that has 4 holes and just rotate it. But I'm just going to do the one that has 2 holes. I'm going to try to bring this in a little for you guys. And I'm going to line up the holes between those little like rubber feet in front. Okay, and I'm going to lower my foot. Now I need to set my machine to a zigzag stitch. And I'm going to lower the stitch length all the way down. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop and take this back. We're going to lower our feed dog. So back here in the back on most machines, sometimes it's on the front, it's in different places, but there's a little bar back here that slides left to right. And watch my little feed dogs. See how they went down? So that means that my fabric's not going to move. We don't want the fabric to move. We want to just stitch back and forth. We're tacking this button down. So we want to lower those feed dogs. Some machines don't have a lever to lower. Some machines have like a little plastic plate that comes with your accessories that you can cover the feed dogs. But it does the same thing because we don't want the feed dogs to be feeding the fabric through. We're just stitching back and forth between these 2 holes. So I've got my machine set to a zigzag stitch. Now my stitch is currently set to 5, which is the standard, but I have a feeling that might be a little too wide for this button, but the best way to know is hold your thread. Do not put your foot on the foot control on the floor, because if you did that and it hits the button instead of going through the hole, it could break your needle or break your button or both. So we're going to use the hand wheel and we're going to turn the hand wheel towards us. All right. and it's going to go through that first hole, but then we're going to say, oh, you know what? Maybe 5 was I hadn't tried this button yet, so maybe I got lucky. But if my needle was not clearing both of these holes perfectly, if they were bumping into, hitting or anything, you can adjust the width of your zigzag stitch to match the width of your button holes, okay? So now that I know it's going to clear it, and I've done a couple stitches, I can use my foot control to tack it back and forth, and my button is attached. It's that simple. I will never hand sew a button on again unless it's like a shank button. If you need to create a shank with this, you absolutely can, and there's tricks for that, but all I would do now is wiggle my threads to the back from the front. You can wiggle these into the back and then tie them off, and you're good to go. And it's super clean. So now my button will fit through my buttonhole. Now to open your buttonhole, you can do a couple of different things. I'm going to move this back a little bit. You can take your snips and fold this and snip into it. There are things like, let me see if I can show this to you, like a little chisel and a little pad, and you can just, these are very sharp, and you can just slice it open that way. But these are extremely sharp, so be very careful. But this prevents you from slicing your threads like scissors can do sometimes. Now I have a nice clean open buttonhole for my button to feed through. Voila. Easy as that. All right, so are we still scared of buttons and buttonholes? I sure hope not. I sure hope not. Oh my goodness. Yes, we did do a class on buttons and buttonholes, but it's always a fun little reminder to make sure that we're, you know, doing them correctly. Now, I have 5 minutes with you guys, and we have one more foot. This is the even feed walking foot. I'm going to get started, but if we get cut off, just know that I've used this foot a lot. This is great for, maybe I'll explain what it does. This is a foot that helps feed your fabric through your machine, and it works in conjunction with the feed dogs on your machine. So a lot of people will use a walking foot when quilting. I had a little quilting sample. We were just going to do a couple of stitches, but it just helps feed the fabric through very evenly, top and bottom. There's a project I did recently for Singer where we sewed with satin, which can be a nightmare to work with. And I did the project and people were like, I didn't know I could use this foot with satin. I was like, you can use this foot with any fabric that's giving you trouble, and is slippery, or one's stretchy and one's not, and you're trying to mash them together. You can use this for a lot of different reasons. So to be able to sew the satin pillow and pillowcase and the eye mask and scrunchie, we use the walking foot. So if you do not have a walking foot, this will be your best friend when sewing with challenging fabrics or quilting or bulky materials. I highly recommend getting one. I would show it to you today, but we don't really have time to, it requires to remove an ankle. So we don't really have time for that today, but I wanted to make sure I answered your questions for the ones that we've gotten through. I feel like 9 out of 10, I feel like we did pretty good. I hope you guys are okay with that. I appreciate your time today so much. And yeah, any questions? Vanessa, Amy, do we have any questions?
Nope, I think we've answered them all.
Okay, I hope this gives you some confidence to look in the accessory tray in the front of your sewing machine. All of those little gadgets in there, a lot of them we use today. Get them out, play with them, have fun with them, try some new things, get some scrap fabric, and just start stitching. That's how you're going to get comfortable and learn some new things, and then you can implement that to your projects. So I hope this helps. Again, we'll be back next month with another class all about applique. We're going to really dive into some more advanced techniques of applique, so be sure to sign up for that. And until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful time sewing, and thank you. I'll see you soon.